Alright guys, let's not make Neil wait any longer. There you go, buddy. You're official. You're on the wall there, right under the paint pimp, Tommy shoe. And I moved Jeff over here by the thermometer. So Jeff's over here. Yeah, we're about 85 degrees in here today. It's not too bad here today, actually. It rained part of the day. And the sun just came out, and I'm messing with some of this motor stuff. You know, I got that 1600 over there in the first stand, 1776 in the second stand there, a little dusty, need to blow it off. And this is our transmission here. We're putting a reverse in, waiting for a reverse gear. Going to get that back together tomorrow when I go down to scooters. I'll take all that crap with me and make sure I get a gear down there. And with the 1915 case back, getting it cleaned up right now. Just washed it with some soap and water, and yep, getting that cleaned up. And I'm getting some of the stuff that Roy gave me cleaned up out of the soaker. So we got that stuff there, and we got these kittens everywhere out here. They're just walking wherever they want now. So yeah, and our other trannies here. This is going to be the Freeway Flyer. Couple other, I'll be right there, honey. Couple other things I forgot to mention, that, you know, if you want like a Pro Street Freeway Flyer, you know, you can do the side cover, which this one doesn't have. You can do a crown diff, which this one doesn't have. You can do the 4 spider gears, which this one doesn't have. You can also do the chrome moly pinion retaining nut, which this one probably doesn't have. I don't know, I don't have it apart yet. And if you got the 4-bolt pinion plate, you can replace that with the chrome moly one. Those are like $100, and so yeah, it adds up. And I had some rods. I don't know what I did with them. Got another set of rods back here. They look really nice. New bushings and all cleaned up. And yeah, we'll be getting those put on something. We got the 1915 rods there. I already had those redone. We got to clean those back up. Those got a little dirty sitting out, and our so that's where we're at, guys. I'm doing a whole lot. I wanted to show Dan the sticker, or Neil. And oh, I was gonna pop these gears off real quick for you. I'll do that. I'm gonna grab a stand, camera stand, and I'll show you how that puller works and all that good stuff, because I know you guys want to see that. Probably don't care less, you know, whether you see it or not, but I'm going to show it to you. So we'll get the camera set up here. And get you zoomed in. There you go. I got to take a couple of flywheels in the machine shop and have them resurfaced tomorrow. So we got to do that still. And yep. So just stupid stuff, you know. I went to the warehouse today, got some stuff for Andrea. Andrea's not feeling good. She's got whatever everybody had. And I've got my tools everywhere. I was looking for my snap ring pliers over there on the tranny bench, because I'm buried in trannies. So the first thing we're going to do is get a hammer and a punch, and we're going to knock that keyway out of the crank. That's the first thing you want to do. And you'll have to excuse me, guys, I don't have the tools laid out. This is sort of a spontaneous video, you know. Oh, let's do that kind of deal. So let me see if I can find a hammer. I just had it out here a minute ago. And there we go. You got you focused in there. Yep. So your keyway is going to be right here in the top of the crank, and it holds the slinger on. The best way to do this is start at the very front of the key and just drive it straight down into the crank, and then walk it back and that baby will pop right out of there. Usually, just like that. And then you pull your slinger off. The slinger always goes on opposite of the way you think it should go. A lot of guys will put them on like this. And I'll take the motor apart and they go like this. So the oil hits this and slings back on the pulley and gets thrown in the case. Not like this, but like this. The concave goes out. So there's that. We'll put that right there. The next thing we have to remove is our snap ring. And we'll do that next. A pair of snap ring pliers. One of these two pairs here. We'll take this bearing off. That's our front snout bearing. And our snap ring will be located right here next to the timing gear. This gear drives the distributor drive gear. It's made out of brass. You want to grab the snap ring and be careful that you don't let it go like that and score the crank. You know, that can happen pretty easy. You didn't mess the crank up, but it can. So now we have our snap ring off. We have that's all that holds the gears on, other than the crush fit. They're put on with heat. You heat the gear up, slide it on the crank, and when it cools off, it has a crush. So well, this is the proper puller for pulling these gears off. So we'll put this on here, run this out. And you can buy these from a couple different Volkswagen people. I don't know if Gene Berg still sells them. He used to sell a really nice one, and probably not anymore though. I don't know. I haven't looked through a Gene Berg catalog in a while, so most of the guys that I'm doing stuff for, they don't go that way, you know. A lot of Scooters customers do, so I get to see a lot of it down at Scooter Shop, you know. And that's just the way it is. Alright, so we got that on there. I like to put a little Earl on the threads of the puller. I spray a little on the gears too, and then just put a little bit on the little spray lube on the oil on the threads there, so they have a little something on them. And there you go. And you run it back out. Stick that up there. And there we have our gears, our spacer. We have our timing gear, which is the big one that drives the camshaft. We have our spacer, and then we have our brass gear, which is for our drive gear. So there you go, another little how you get these things apart video. It's one of the special tools you need to have, or a press. You can press them off. I've seen people press them in a press, but a press is a little more difficult. I prefer that tool, you know. And there we have it. One disassembled crank. We'll send that out, have her polished up, clean, Magnaflux, check for cracks, and when we get that back, we'll reassemble it and build us a 1600. That's the motor that came from Roy, and you know, the motor was rebuilt, but it's set for a long time, so we're going to completely go through this, put a new set of piston cylinders, a set of rebuilt heads, some new bearings, some new lifters, cam, oil pump, etc., and we'll have a nice little motor for somebody. So we'll be able to salvage that for sure. So that is a standard German crank, which is good. We can turn that 10 thousandths and no problem, or it might even polish. The German cranks will surprise you sometimes. Very good quality. They're very hard. You can't really feel anything in this, you know. It just looks like it's been sitting. Obviously, when they rebuilt the motor last time, this wasn't a new piece, you know, so he didn't replace the crank at the time of the rebuild, and it doesn't look like it was turned or polished either. So we'll go ahead and polish it at least, and get some of these lines out. And like I say, they're lines from the bearing, because you can't feel them with your fingernail, and usually you can feel it with your fingernail if it needs to be turned. But it's feeling pretty smooth. We'll go ahead and just try to take it down there and let them make the call. whether it can be polished or turned. So there you go. That's how we get the gears off. And yeah, until I turn this back on again, I'll go ahead and shut it off, go upload this, and here's the mommy cat and Smoke. We'll be keeping Smoke. Mommy's drying up. No more milk from Mommy, huh? And Scooter got his cat today, so that was cool. We'll get to see Striper tomorrow. But till then, guys, thanks for the comments. Thanks for the thumbs up. And we'll see you tomorrow.